Hey folks, welcome to Verified Investing Alerts, Trade Setups, and Action Video. My name is Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. So folks, I know a lot of people have been asking what is going on with Bitcoin. Is there a change in my projected downside target to about 18 to 20,000? The answer is no, but I do want to go over the charts in terms of where this Bitcoin could go in the near term. So you guys know that I've been talking about the potential for us to get to a point where we bounce up maybe as high as 48 to 50,000. In terms of the chart, that would be right in this range, this gap fill, this neckline of the head and shoulders that broke down so beautifully here. That would be the retrace max upside. Now, I expected a bigger bounce in the near term. It hasn't materialized, even though the target still remains down to about 18 to 20,000 on Bitcoin. Now, ultimately, what you see here is bearish consolidation. Now, this bearish consolidation is getting to a point where you're going to either have to see a breakdown below 30,000, or it's going to basically the bearish pattern would fail and it's going to start moving towards that 48 to 50,000 target up here, obviously with a stopping point right in this range here around 40 to 42,000. Now, just to be clear, all right, this is important. Just to be clear, you have a scenario here where you have the bearish pattern, which leads you to favor a near-term breakdown coming probably within the next 1 week period. All right. The way you're going to know if this is materializing is if it closes, if you get a daily close with confirmation below 30,000. Notice how you hit 30,000 right here. You pierced it here. The institutions whipped it back up. Now it's forming this pattern here. So again, over the next week, I think we will know one way or the other. Is it going to bounce first and then go to 20,000, or is it going to go straight to 20,000? All right. So again, this next week is big. And again, I'm using time counts here to understand this aspect of a bigger move coming in the next, 5 to 7 trading days, as well as a few other factors, including cycle analysis. All right. So that's really the latest on Bitcoin. The Bitcoin chart again has created a bearish pattern here, even though it has a bottoming tail here, bearish pattern, which leads me to believe that a breakdown in the near term is getting more likely versus a bounce before the breakdown. Okay, and again, we will know that when it breaks below 30,000, it closes below 30,000, and it confirms below 30,000. All right, so very important aspects here on the Bitcoin chart. But ultimately, the downside target is still in tune. It is still in target in terms of the technicals of the chart. And I want to be clear, this move down will be coincided by a deleveraging move. Like to get to, like we could break 30,000. That's not a big deal. To get down to the 18 to 20,000 level, you're going to have to see a deleveraging in the overall stock market, as well as other, basically other areas of investment. That will include cryptocurrency. I'm still in the position that you need to wipe out a lot of the cryptos out there. If you just look at this in comparison to the .com bubble, it is almost identical. All right, meaning that, there have been cryptocurrencies started that have no reason to be around, and they have valuations that are insane. Just like I still remember in the late 90s, people were starting .com companies run out of their parents' basement, and they get 50 million to 100 million valuation. Look at the comparison in terms of some of the valuations of these cryptocurrencies that really have no business being around. Now, what's important to remember about the .com collapse is that the big companies, there were certain companies that emerged, like Amazon, that turned out to be the greatest investments in history. All right. So again, yes, I do think there's going to be a flush out in Bitcoin down to 20,000, maybe 18,000, maybe even lower. I think that it will ultimately be a great buying opportunity for a move up to 65,000, then 100,000, then 500,000. But I do think that a lot of the kind of the underlings, the ones that you don't hear about as much in the media, those will be kind of left for dead and eventually be worthless. So just keep that in mind. That's one of the reasons why when I invest in cryptocurrencies, I stick with best of breed being Bitcoin, Ether, Cardano's okay, Litecoin, basically Ripple if you want to play a little bit. I'm not a huge fan of Ripple, but anything basically on that top 10 or top 20 list, I think is okay as long as you diversify out amongst many of them. And obviously the biggest position should be Bitcoin and Ether going forward once the buy levels are tagged here. Okay. Other than that, that's really the update here on cryptocurrency. Again, as I just to summarize, Still looking for downside movement. The question is, do we get a bounce first before that move down to 20 to 18,000? And again, we should know in the next 5 to 7 trading days. All right. Come find me at inthemoneystocks.com. Join verified investing alerts for stock tips and stock trades, live trades given by me as I take them, daily videos, weekly live broadcasts where you can ask me questions direct. Come join us here at In the Money Stocks.